Would you exchange
$72,000
and the opportunity to fulfill a kid's dream to be in the cover of a video game if it would derail your career and you would never be able to be the same again? Would you do it?
The total money I have made is a whopping $72,000 and $500, a little change. I think it's absolutely amazing.
This is the decision that champs are starting to realize that comes with being in the cover of the UFC video game. Every person that has been in the cover of the UFC has been cursed. And the curse doesn't just follow you in the octagon, it follows you everywhere. It haunts you until you're humiliated in front of the world. This curse has existed since the game started coming out. And whether you believe in ghosts or not, it is undeniable that every single person that was in the cover of the UFC video game is now worse off than when they were on it. But something's for sure. If you are in the cover, there's a hidden price to be paid.
Oh man, I have to pay a microtransaction to unlock? That's so stupid that this has to... Hold on, I got this, guys. Here we go.
First installment, EA UFC. In the cover, Jon Jones and Alexander Gustafsson. Previously, the games were produced by THQ, but when it was sold off to Electronic Arts, EA, it sparked a curse that nobody would see coming. A few weeks before, Alexander Gustafsson and Jon Jones had gone to war in the octagon in one of the best fights ever, and to honor both of them, the UFC decided to put them on the cover of their video game. It seemed like a super nice thing to do, but in hindsight, it was a bad move. Jon Jones would win the fight, but Gustafsson came out looking like a superstar.
It was a loss, but his stock has to be up now, right, Alex?
His stock is way up.
A knockout victory over Jimmy Manua garnered him even more praise. So much so that they brought the UFC to Gustafsson's hometown of Stockholm, Sweden. During all this, the game was released and Gustafsson would get knocked out by Anthony Rumble Johnson in the first round. A brutal loss in his hometown and the first taste at the fact that the curse won't stop until it sees you humiliated. Alexander Gustafsson was never the same again. As far as Jon Jones, he would also be affected by the curse. Right after his title defense, the champion would test positive for cocaine and spend a grand total of 1 day in rehab. And then...
Yeah, there was a car accident right here on Wansboro and Southern Boulevard. Street car accident. Anyone injured? I'm not sure.
Yes, Jon Jones defeated Alexander Gustafsson, but he suffered way worse consequences. EA UFC 2. In 2016, EA would craft out the same game and add a number at the end. And the company needed 2 new people to put in the cover. 2 new sacrifices, if you will. Conor McGregor and Ronda Rousey would be co-stars for this cover. I've made a video about both of them, so I'm assuming you know where this is going. Both fighters would get finished in their next fight as huge favorites. For Ronda, that would be holding home. Her undefeated streak gone unhumiliated in front of almost 100,000 people. And Conor McGregor was the greatest martial artist that had ever lived at the time. With Conor McGregor and Ronda Rousey on the cover, the video game had become the greatest combat sports video game by just default. 2 of the greatest stars, the biggest female star in history and the biggest male star in history. What could go wrong? Conor McGregor was expected to win against Nate Diaz, but ended up getting rocked and then strangled.
Tough pill to swallow, Caroline, but this is the fight business. It can be cruel at times, so this is it. I'll take it like a man.
And then Ronda Rousey would come back for another fight and she would get destroyed by Amanda Nunes. Her popularity would get destroyed as well because she would refuse to admit the fact that she lost when she clearly did.
Think about the last couple fights. Do you think about what happened or have you processed it all? I think I'd just rather not talk about that right now.
Her attitude was terrible and they would retire her and send her off to the WWE where she was also hated and ostracized from the fans. Within 1 year, both stars succumbed to the curse. So I guess we need somebody else for the next video game, right? Well, not quite. Conor McGregor just hadn't had enough at this point. He would become the champ, and it would only be fitting a 2-time champion would also become a 2-time UFC cover holder. Conor would get cursed twice as he rebounded impressively from the Diaz fight and got that victory back, and then beat Eddie Alvarez for the lightweight championship.
You've made history. You're the featherweight champ, you're the lightweight champ. Where do we go from here?
I don't know what I'm doing with it. I've got some stuff that in my mind, and look, we'll see. I hold all the cards now, so someone's got to come present something really sweet to keep me sweet.
He would decide to go and box Mayweather, and even though he took the loss, he also took a lot of money home. And now Conor McGregor was set to face the champion for the belt that he never lost, the lightweight championship. Now it was held by the undefeated Dagestani Khabib Nurmagomedov.
I'm here for smash this guy. I don't wanna
me,
talk.
mate. You say send location. Here it is, right here in front.
This was the biggest fight in MMA history, and Conor McGregor promoted it as such. He kept talking trash about the religion of the opponent, family, country, everything.
He his jokes after doing something to his own country, man. That had nothing got to do with anything.
However, once it got to that octagon, Khabib absolutely dominated McGregor, embarrassed him once again. He would put him in a neck crank and have McGregor tap out. And Khabib was not just satisfied with humiliating Conor. He would throw a mouthpiece at his team and jump the fence to go attack them. However, at the end of the day, Conor was mauled, and his aura as a champion, it was gone for good now. EA UFC 4. Following the departure of Ronda Rousey and the inactivity of Conor, the UFC was given 2 new stars once again. This time, Jorge Masvidal and Israel Adesanya. Masvidal, a longtime street fighting fight favorite, and Israel Adesanya, a former kickboxer who's regarded as the next Anderson Silva. Let's focus on game-bred Jorge Masvidal first. Masvidal became a superstar when he got the first KO against Ben Askren, then headlined MSG against Nick Diaz. Masvidal was a certified badass that could negotiate with the UFC at this point. And he became a short notice titles contender for Kamaru Usman. The cut from Masvidal was brutal. And when it came to the octagon, Masvidal didn't win a single round against Usman. However, at the end of the fight, he was confident that he could beat Usman in a rematch.
I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get back in the ring opposite of him and get this show cracking.
To be honest, the guy should have stopped right there, but he got a rematch at UFC 261.
Come in here to perform and bring the violence that they crave, and that's the only reason why I got all these fans behind me.
But the fans can't fight for you.
I'm gonna whoop your ass all by myself. I don't need nobody. I'm gonna bust your face up, break more bones than last time.
Word.
Remember this face.
Word.
Word, my brother.
The curse is not just about losing. The curse is about humiliating you no matter where you go. Now, onto Israel Adesanya. Israel was right next to Jorge Masvidal on the cover. However, Israel was the only one that was able to slightly delay the curse and win his first fight right after being on the cover. It came in a very different way. He would knock out Pablo Costa in dominant fashion and would even go and tweet what EA curse. But he now had aspirations to become a double champion, and that would get stopped immediately before he even got into his tracks. Blachowicz would hand him his first loss as a professional in his very first fight.
I said, dare to be great. I'm going back down to 185, and I'm gonna roll that with my iron black fist.
Izzy would defend his belt 3 more times, and he would enter a rivalry that would transcend his career. You probably know the story by now. His name is Alex Pereira, the only man that was able to defeat Israel Adesanya in his own weight class, kickboxing. Now they would face in the octagon, and Israel Adesanya would once again keep the curse at bay somehow, beat Alex Pereira. So at this point, Israel had faced the curse. He had a slight downturn. He somehow kept his career on track. But guess what? EA Sports UFC 5. In the cover, Israel Adesanya. He would have to face the curse once again. The only man that had been able to defeat it decided to go against it once again. Not even McGregor could do this. And the curse would come back with a vengeance. Israel Adesanya was a heavy favorite against Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland not only embarrassed Israel Adesanya on the microphone.
You guys motivate me. It's gonna be awesome to bring the belt back to the States.
But also in the octagon. All that Israel had built up, both good and bad, now had come crashing on him. Out of all the burials we've seen thus far, this might have been the worst one. The curse was angry.
The way I felt in there was different than how it looked. Lucid nightmare or something. You try and hit the guy and just feels like noodle arms, like just like the fuck, like it's not. So yeah, that just felt like a bad dream.
All right, we were talking about the deluxe edition. The standard cover would have Valentina Shevchenko and Alexander Volkanovski. Shevchenko, she recently faced Alexa Grasso, but the match was ruled a draw. She fought well, and most people thought he won the fight. She was on the cover and had to suffer. She was in the very last round, and somehow that third round was deemed a 10-8 for Alexa Grasso. The judge might have been possessed by the ghost, because there's no way that was a 10-8 round on anybody's books.
Valentina, I mean, you're nothing short of a champion. You're always pushing forward and doing your best, whether it's for yourself or those who bought tickets.
I think it really was 3-2 in my side. but judges, I think, felt a little bit like pressure because it's kind of like Mexican Independence Day.
And now, Alexander Volkanovski would losing his featherweight championship in Anaheim, California. The curse still stands to this day, and nobody has been able to defeat it, not even Volkanovski. However, some of the biggest victims I have made a video for already. One of them is right there, Ronda Rousey, and the other one is right here, Conor McGregor. And I'll see you in those videos. See ya!
Ballin' now, skirt down, all of these diamonds soap. Bottom for me with the yours now. You could drink it, but take it slow. Ballin' for you, falling